Scaredy cat. EU chief thrown into a blue funk as Liz Truss to trigger Article 16 send EU downfall. Brexit tensions have skyrocketed once more after the European Union warned the UK triggering Article 16 of the Northern Ireland Protocol could rip out the heart of the relationship between the two sides. The UK has been at loggerheads with Brussels over post-Brexit trading arrangements in Northern Ireland, claiming the mechanism currently in place simply does not work. Former Brexit Minister Lord Frost had wanted to overhaul large parts of the protocol, warning if the EU did not move from its stance, then the UK would be ready to trigger the Article 16 safeguard. This allows either side to possibly suspend trade checks between Britain and Northern Ireland if they believe the protocol is leading to serious economic, societal or environmental difficulties. The EU has so far stood strong on its position, warning any move to trigger Article 16 would be met with fierce retaliation, sparking fears of a possible and potentially destructive trade war between the two parties. Speaking to German news outlet Spiegel, European Commission Vice President Maros Sefcovic warned the threats from the UK government to pull the trigger on Article 16 are an enormously disruptive element in negotiations. He said, "You try to achieve something together, and, boom, there's the threat of Article 16 again. That goes to the heart of our relationship." Mr. Sefcovic also warned triggering Article 16 of the Northern Ireland Protocol would constitute an enormous setback for relations between the EU and UK. The EU chief claimed the protocol is the most complicated part of the Brexit negotiations and is the foundation of the whole deal, before warning, without the protocol, the system collapses. We must prevent that at all costs. Last month, the European Commission drafted a range of sanctions that could be imposed as a form of retaliation against the UK should Article 16 be triggered. These included punitive tariffs that could be slapped on UK exports to the EU within a month or a suspension of the whole post-Brexit trade deal within 9 months. The UK's Foreign Secretary Liz Truss has now been handed the brief of taking over talks with the EU following the shock departure of Brexit Minister Lord Frost earlier this month. Asked whether he expects the atmosphere of talks between the two sides to improve following the appointment, Mr. Sefcovic replied he was pragmatic about the change. The EU chief added, "A successful joint solution with our British partners is more important to me than a great atmosphere." But Mr. Sefcovic continued to voice his frustration at the slow pace of talks with Britain. They quarreled over procurement, with France and Germany pushing their own brands. Then they broke their own laws by ordering raids on laboratories. All the while the bloc looked not just like a protectionist racket, but an incompetent one. Since then the EU has stumbled through crisis after crisis. The European Army project, which Brexiteers were always promised would never occur, is speeding up apace. And economic recovery in the Eurozone remains not just sluggish but, as ever, reliant on no Italian bank ever failing. The EU may be a great dream for some. But it is an exceptionally precarious one. This country was right to leave, and Boris Johnson's government deserves credit for actually taking us out of the EU, as we asked them to do at the polls 5.5 years ago. According to economists at investment bank Goldman Sachs, post-Brexit Britain is on course to outpace every other nation in the G7 in 2022. They say the economy will grow by 4.8% in the next 12 months. Compared to 4% for Germany and 4.4% for both France and Italy. Experts at HSBC predict similar movement, see graphic. One of the factors behind this strong forecast is our relatively fast booster program. People have volunteered in huge numbers to be jabbed for a third time while EU states are busy threatening their own citizens with mandatory vaccinations and imposing new lockdowns. But, a year after finally leaving the EU, our government has failed to take advantage of all the opportunities that Brexit holds. In fact, in some key ways, this country is looking more like the EU, not less. The government of Boris Johnson could have done everything to turn us into a lower tax, more business-attractive country.